last time for our e-learning, we took a look at the product rule for exponents. And what it basically said is when you have bases that have exponents, you can add them together so that this is, if we do just the regular numbers first, we have 5 times 1, we get 5, and then r is going to stay the same. Remember that there's always an exponent, so the r has a 1 there. So 2 plus 1 is 3. And this was called the product rule. And basically means that we can add exponents because the exponents just mean multiplication. So when we look at this problem here, we're going to look at the regular numbers first, 4 and 3, multiply them together. 4 times 3 is 12. And then we keep k as the base, and then we can take 4 and 3 for the exponents, and we can add them together, and they become to the 7th. So it becomes 12k to the 7th. That, again, is called the product rule. Today, we're going to take a look at what's called the power to a power rule. But to do that, we have to understand what this means on the outside. So this really means 4v times 4v times 4v. And if we just use our previous rule, we could simply say, okay, well, we'll take all the regular numbers, 4 times 4 times 4, and we'll multiply them together. So 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 more is 64. And then with the variable, we'll keep the letter v. We have to remember that even though it's not written there, that each one of these v's has an exponent of 1. And so then we can go 64 v, and then 1 plus 1 is to the third. So we've got 64v to the third. Well, if we take that a second and we've broken that down, that's what it means when we break it apart. We could actually do our problem like this. Well, the 4 has a exponent of 1. The v has an exponent of 1. If I take the 3 and multiply it by each one of those exponents, I could get 4 to the third and v to the third, which if I use my calculator, I can go to my calculator and I can see that 4 to the third is 64, okay? Well, that tells me 64, and then the v to the third is just going to stay v to the third. So all I really got to do is when I have a power to a power, I can just multiply. Where previously we were adding, when you have a power to a power, you're going to multiply. So if we look at number 4, we've got 2b to the third power. Now this is really important. Even the 2 has an exponent, and the b has an exponent. We're then going to take 3 times each one of those exponents. So we get 2 to the third and b to the third. You can use your calculator, but 2 times 2 times 2 is going to be 8, and then b to the third is simply going to stay b to the third. And that's the answer you're looking for. Again, this is just multiplying the exponents. Don't forget that if there's not an exponent, there's an assumed 1 there. So 3 times 3 to the first is going to become 3 to the third, and then 3 times a to the third is going to become a to the ninth. And then we got to figure out the regular numbers. 3 to the third is going to be 3 times 3 times 3. If you want, you can use a calculator. Just simply type in 3 to the third. You'll get 27. And then you can go back to your paper and you can put 27a to the ninth. Number 8 is going to be the same thing. It's going to be multiply 3 times 1. You get 4 to the third. And you get x to the 12th. And then 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. X to the 12th stays the same. Looking at number 9, we're going to do the same thing. The 4 here has a 1 as the exponent, so 4 to the second, b to the 6th, and you end up with 4 times 4 is 16, b to the 6th power. For a problem like number 10, this time there's no number there, and so all you got to do is take the 2 and times it by the 3, so you get x to the 6th. Number 11, again, there's no number, so we're going to have 1 there and 1 there. 4 times 1 is going to give us 8 to the 4th, and then 4 times 1 again is going to give us x to the 4th. Again, you can use your calculator. You can go 8 to the 4th. You're going to find 4,096. 4,096. And you get x to the 4th just comes down with it. That is your answer. For number 12, you've got 5 here. It doesn't have an exponent, so we're going to put it to the first. So it's going to become 5 to the 4th. V to the 16th. Again, you can use the calculator. Go to your calculator. 5 to the 4th is 625. And then the V to the 16 just drops down beside 625. And that is your answer. Your assignment today is going to be a Canvas assignment. You're going to do similar problems that we just went over here. There's 15 of them. They are multiple choice, so you'll go through and you'll select. But if we even just look at these ones, we can say, okay, 5 to the 1st, x to the 1st. We get 5 to the 3rd, and x to the 3rd. Well, you can quickly see, well, not going to work, not going to work, not going to work. It has to be this one. And the only reason I know that is because this is x to the 3rd, this is x to the 3rd. Now, sometimes it'll come out to where you have 2 that have x to the 3rd, and then you have to figure out what the 5 to the 3rd is, which happens to be 125. Because 5 times 5 is 25, times another 5 is 125. Again, you'll have 3 attempts to do the assignment. There are a total of 15 problems, but I've done one of them for you. So you should be able to get this done between 10 to 20 minutes if you include watching the video and doing the assignment. You'll have up to 3 attempts to do the assignment.